So what we are going to do today, again, I'm not going to stand there because I do not have slides. I'm going to sit there and we're going to do this whole thing together. We're going to do a bit of time travel, a journey. So we're going to install Playwright. We're going to see how the primitive way of writing a test would look like, or a simple code. Then we're going to see how we can use Playwright's code gen to write the same test. Then we are going to install Playwright's MCP, and we are going to see how the same test can just be prompted and not coded, and Playwright's MCP generates the test for us. Then we are going to go one step further. We are going to download Playwright's CLI, which is MCP++. And then we are going to see how that works. And then we are going to go one step even further. We're going to install a skill. Raise of hands who are aware of skills. Great, awesome. So we're going to use Playwright skills. And then at the end, we are also going to compare token consumptions. So Playwright MCP, how many tokens it uses. CLI, how many tokens it uses. And skills and CLI, how many tokens it uses. Because at the end of the day, we are coming to a stage where we do not just need to be mindless prompters, but we need to be token-efficient prompters. We need to know when to not use tokens, right? So that's going to be the game. Maybe we will close it off with creating a skill together. So we're going to create a skill together. We're going to know what the anatomy of a skill looks like. How does it look? Name, description, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to create a skill together in VS Code. Yeah? Sounds like a plan? Okay, so I'm going to sit down now and start doing really, apologies for that, I usually stand, but this is a different game. Okay. I think I need to zoom it a bit. Yeah, is this okay? So last evening, just for practice, I created these different tests. You would see one with purchase.spec.ts, that's a standard one. Then the next one with MCP, then the next one with CLI, then the next one with CLI and skills. But we're going to do all of that now, live. Yeah, sure. So I'm going to open a brand new folder and zoom a bit more, right? Is this okay? Okay, we're going to use a lot of this section and a lot of this section. This is where we're going to do a lot of prompting. Terminal, new terminal. First thing first, we will, okay, let me check if I have internet. So I do have some slides, but these are not slides. These are just notes for all of us. Commands that we're going to copy and we're going to paste, right? So let me very quickly check if I have internet. No, no internet. If I do not have internet, yeah. So how, while this gets fixed, how mature you are in your organization who are using Playwright? At what stage you are? Thinking of implementing, which is stage 0, 1. Yes? Yes? Okay, great. Okay, okay. Shall I try, or we can press space to play? Still don't have internet, but don't worry. I don't think even if we lose a few minutes, it's going to affect us because we're going to move pretty fast. Experiences with AI. Any experiences with AI in your organization? Yeah. There and thereabout. Yeah. Okay. Good ones. You're using GitHub Copilot or Claude or. Mm-hmm.
Should I try my hotspot for you to get some internet connection?
That would be lovely. Yes. Thank you. We have a hotspot.
Let's see if it works. I don't know how to use a Mac.
That's a good one. Takashi's iPhone?
No.
Coming. Clap for him. Great. So now we have internet. So the first thing that we're going to, finishing your statement. So you have experimented a bit and? Yeah? Cloud Code. Nice. Very nice choice. Okay, so simply going to install Playwright. Empty folder, absolutely nothing there. npm init Playwright latest. It asks me, do I want to create it in TypeScript or JavaScript? I'm going to go with TypeScript. Where do I want to put it? I would say I want to put it in tests folder. Put it as in put all my tests in the tests folder. Do I want to add a GitHub action workflow? Yes, sure, why not? And the Playwright browsers, of course, I need them. Nice. So we have Playwright installed. As simple as that. And what they have done is, by default, they have given an example test here where it says, okay, I go to this playwright.dev website and I just expect the title to have Playwright. Very simple test. Definitely not a real world test, but a simple one. And there's another test, getting started. So there is a link called getting started, checking if that is there or not. Simple. Now, before we start to do anything ourselves, we will very quickly run this demo test and see if everything works fine. And then our premise will be, okay. So one thing is, I can run this test like this, npx run test. And then starts to run. So 6 tests passed. You saw nothing on the screen because everything was running in a headless mode. But if you just say npx run test -- headed, like this, headed, it will start to run in a headed mode. But we don't want that. Playwright is not really the hero of today's talk. The hero of today's talk is the evolution. So I'm going to spend less time explaining the concepts of Playwright and more about how the drive towards agentic is. Yeah. One thing I will do though is I'm going to run this here with --UI so that you get the opportunity to select which test to run and how a UI execution mode looks like. So immediately a UI comes up and it says, hey, you have 2 tests, has title and get started link. Simple. I'm going to select one, I'm going to run this, and the entire test starts to execute. It is a little slow, but that's perfectly okay. Your hotspot is great, by the way. Love it. So the entire execution happens, and on the top, you see a very nice timeline of what it does. It just opens a URL, validates something, and that's about it. Simple. But what we will do now is we are going to take an e-commerce website. We are going to purchase a product, and we are going to create an entire test for that entire purchase flow. Okay? Okay, so the e-commerce website is saucedemo.com. Have you seen this website before? No? Okay. So we're going to log in with this standard user and this secret sauce password. We're going to log in. We are going to add an item to the cart. Which one shall we add? Raise of hands. Anyone? T-shirt. And a backpack as well. Backpack. Okay. So 2 items are added to the cart. I see 2 items. In a typical testing scenario, you would want to validate if these 2 items are really added to the cart or not. But we are not testing. We're just going through the flow. When we will test, we will add these validations. Yeah? Then I'm going to click on checkout. Then it says, okay, what's the first name, last name, and zip code? I'm going to give my first name, last name, and the zip code. Continue. And then finally clicking on finish. And I get a thank you message. All good. Yeah. So this is the entire purchase flow. And I want to be able to validate this flow if it works perfectly fine. I want to be able to log in, add items to the cart, validate if the items are added to the cart, and finally, after completing the checkout process, I want to validate if I see the thank you message. So the flow is complete. Okay? Let's do this. The flow is clear to everybody? All right. So let's go back to our first phase, right? The first step is to use Playwright Code Gen. So again, why I'm seeing this is because I want to show you we're going to generate test steps with Code Gen, then with MCP, then with CLI, then with CLI plus skills, okay? And then eventually talk about skills. But let's first use Code Gen. Now, in order to start Code Gen, I'm going to use this command, npx playwright code gen. Let me clear this up. Paste npx playwright code gen. Code gen, it's a code generator. It's as simple as that. But it needs you to do something about it. It's going to write the code, but it expects you to work on the website. And that is not really a handy thing in an agentic world, but still. I keep on saying agentic world. I don't know whether you like it or you dislike it, but yeah. saucedemo.com. So as and when I do something here, you will see the code generated on the right-hand side. So I'm going to type standard underscore user secret underscore sauce, log in. This time I'm going to choose fleece jacket, for instance, add to cart. I'm going to go inside. Now, as I said, I'm going to do a validation that it has been added to the cart. So I'm going to come here, and then I will say, if you see that option on the top, this I option, is it too small for people at the back? Yeah, okay, great. I'm going to say assert visibility. I'm going to click on this. And for this, the expect line, the expect syntax gets added automatically to the code. Then I'm going to click on checkout. Ashish. And continue. Okay, again here, click on finish. And finally, I want to, again, assert the visibility of the success message. So assert visibility of this. And done. So here's my entire code. I'm going to copy this. I will show you the code, of course, what it generated. I'm going to copy this and go to VS Code. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to name it purchase underscore codegen dot spec dot ts. It is very important that every Playwright test is named with or ends with spec.ts. Then it knows, it's a spec. That means it's a test. And then it is able to identify it as a test and is able to run it, right? So spec.ts. And I'm going to paste it. So let's quickly look at the code. Page.goto identifies it with data test. So this is an element identification technique of the DOM. Username, password, fills up the data. Then line number 12 and line number 22. This is where it validates the presence of certain elements, right? So line number 12, it validates the presence of the item that I've added to the cart. Line number 22, it validates the presence of thank you for your order. So the success message. So now my flow has become a test. Because otherwise I would have just clicked, added, and it would have been a flow. But the validation gives it the touch of a test. So every test should always have a validation. Any questions with the code? Anything that you would want me to clarify? Yes. Yes, 100%. So this playwright config.ts file that you see right at the bottom, that this one, yeah, that is the engine, the brain. That is where you can get variables from command line or from secret managers, and then you can feed it into your test. Yeah. All right. Yes. Yeah, exactly. That is essentially the power of Playwright. See. To answer your question, you see, process.env. And to answer your question, Chromium Firefox WebKit. Yeah, cool. So now what I will do is I will simply save this and invoke that command that I executed some time back. npx playwright test --UI. Now, in this case, it identifies a new code that we generated. Hey, let me do something. Let me not call it test. Let me call it purchase codegen. Yeah, let's give it a good name. And let's invoke this again. Yeah, I have the test. I'm going to simply run this. You see how quick it is? It just ran the test in practically no time, the entire flow, which took us quite some time, well, about a minute to perform and to create. Every step that you see here is nicely highlighted. So far, we are pretty good. And on the top, there is a timeline. There's a timeline of what exactly was happening at which stage. So in this case, Playwright is absolutely superb. This is Playwright's trace viewer. This kind of view is called trace viewer. You can actually see everything happening. But this still needs us to do the interaction or perform the interaction with the website by ourselves. So we have to do it all by ourselves. Something that I don't like anymore after GitHub Copilot came into picture. I don't like anymore. So now we are going to ask Playwright to do all of this with a user prompt. Yeah? Shall we create the prompt together? I think that can make it a bit more interactive. Nice. But to tell or to ask Playwright to do this all by itself, it needs a tool. It needs something to be able to go to the browser, open up the whole website, identify the elements all by itself, start clicking, and then move forward. This tool is the Playwright MCP tool. Yeah? Let's install that first, and then let's create the prompt together. Okay. Let's go to the notes. This is where we start with MCP. It says install via extension, search with @MCP. So that means if I go to the extension, and if I search with @MCP, and then do Playwright. So this is the one. Oh, this is relay. Okay. It is not showing up for me purely because Playwright MCP is already installed for me. So then I'll have to uninstall it and then install it for you. Now I am opening up the chat window. So far, the chat window was not required, but now I'm opening up the chat window. If I click on this gear icon, and if I look at these MCP servers, have you gone deep into this chat window before and looked at the components? No? Okay, then we will learn quite a lot today. So this MCP servers shows Playwright MCP is already installed. It's currently marked as stopped, so I'm going to uninstall it, and I'm going to install it again for all of you to see. And now it is in a running state. So now I have a tool that will go and do the stuff for me. Okay. I'm going to type, and somebody or all of us are going to create the prompt. Or you can say, hey, you have the prompt, because I have the prompt, and I can use it, but it would be fun if we do this together. Let's create one prompt together, and then let's copy-paste next time onwards. Shall we? Hey, don't look at it. Who wants to start? Yes. You were copying from the using the Playwright MCP. Good one, I like it. I like it, yes. Using the Playwright MCP, log in to saucedemo.com. Yeah, okay. With username as whatever that was, secret. No, sorry, standard underscore user, and yes, I would have done that honestly, but let it be safe because I'm working on his hotspot. We don't want to burn too many tokens, so let's just yeah, okay. Okay, password as secret underscore sauce. We're going to run one without these details. It's going to find it. I know I've tested it quite a few times. And then add, do we want to specify an item or just about? Add a backpack to the shopping cart. You can. Yes. Buy the backpack, indeed. You can do that. We're going to try another prompt with a very, hey, just go to this website and buy a backpack. We're going to do that. Without. Okay. Let's dumb it down a little bit for this guy for now. Not so much of details. But yeah, add a backpack to the shopping cart. I would say complete the checkout process. Complete the checkout process and validate the success message. Yeah. Mm, verify the backpack is in the cart. Yes. Yes. Um, um, to be honest, I did, but then if I don't, in this case, it's going to create random data, and it's going to create data like John Doe with some random zip code. Checkout process and validate the success message. So that's the flow, right? But I also want it to create the test and save the test in a file. Yeah. After this, you're taking pictures, so I need to stand up. Yeah, cool, thanks. After this, create a spec file with the name. I usually would not give the name, but because we will be creating multiple spec files, so I'm going to give a name. The name. Sorry? Yeah. Okay, let's do this. After this, create a spec file with the name, with the logical name. What do you mean by logic? We'll see, yeah? Logical name. Ending with underscore MCP. This is what I want, essentially, just the underscore MCP. I would expect it to create a name like purchase flow or purchase underscore MCP dot spec dot ts. Yeah. Or MCP. And save it in my test folder. Oh, tests folder. Sounds about logical, right? Yeah. This is exactly the kind of prompt that or not really this kind, but more business-oriented prompts that I would expect the business users to actually give us, so that we, as technical folks, are able to run these business tests early rather than waiting for them to do it at a later stage. Yes. Yeah. Mhm. So if you see, I did mention validate the success message. So there is a subtle hint towards it that, hey, do some assertion there. And I'm also saying, I think one of the suggestions was verify the backpack is in the cart. So these two validations are there. It's not very explicit, but kind of there. I'm expecting it's going to work. Yeah. Then, shall we start? The more the merrier. So the more instructions that you give, the more context you give, the better it is. So I would love to add that. Yes. As a, how would you say? As an expert quality engineer, let's call it. As an expert quality engineer. Sam Altman actually once said, please do not waste tokens by using please, right? So, thank you. Oh, come on, you don't thank him. Um, all right, so here's what we will do. We will simply paste it here and wait for it to struggle a bit. I hope it doesn't struggle, but let's see what happens. It's working, it's doing some stuff. We will see all of that. We'll see all of that. Right now, I have marked it as auto. So it's going to pick up the logical one that it feels is appropriate. Could be Codex, could be Sonnet, could be whatever. But because a lot of you have not explored the settings file, I'm going to show you the entire agentic workflow, what happens behind the scenes, right? Okay, allow in this session. I'm going to allow it. Allow without review in this session, okay. Oh, lots of non-reviewing acceptance that I'm doing. Yeah? It's locked. It's inside. I'm very tempted to click on this OK, but I will not. I wouldn't just mark it as allow everything for this session. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, it's good to be aware of what is going on. There is a famous line that we say, right? Human in the loop. Yeah. I say human in the lead. I'm in the lead. You are in the lead. It's the AI in the loop. Right? So. Still working hard. It tries with this kind of stuff, doesn't find it, times out, still working hard. Let us see if it is eventually able to finish the flow or not. Do you know how to find the token usage of a request like this? It did something. At the bottom. Yeah, it is. After it finishes this process, we will actually see how many tokens it consumed. Yeah. I did. It was too annoying. I'm sorry. Hey, it went back. Added the item to the cart. Surprisingly, surprisingly, this is still in the working process. Eventually, when the code will be generated, I'm pretty sure it will just give us the right one. Finally. Again, I do not know whether this is because of internet speed or it is really struggling, but what are the different uses of Cloud Code or GitHub Copilot in your organization? What do you do normally? Everything. So everything code. Nice. And how much do you trust it? Like, yeah, for us the same as well. We're also everyone in the organization. Yeah, cool. All right. So it finished the process. Didn't disappoint us that much. Oh. We have a little test still, a journey, and it did identify a logical name would be purchase. Yeah, underscore MCP spec.ts. So quite good. And it says, okay, do you want to run it? Because it has created the file. I'm going to click on keep so that the file is here. So do I want to allow it to run it? Probably not, because we are going to run it ourselves, right? So I'm going to skip this, and I want it to finish the process so that we can go and safely check what is the token usage. Yeah, yeah, it's finishing the process basically. It's a very obedient person. If you don't stop it, it will just create markdown files, write books for you, and like, this is all that we have done. But you see, if you want, I can run this. I don't want it to, but yeah. All right. So the spec.ts file is created. The validation that you were talking about, that validation is here. It did validate that after clicking on in the cart, it has the element. And then right at the end, it also added this thank you for your order validation. So it has done the job. Now, if I click on this ellipses, and if I go to show agent debug logs, then you will be able to see everything that the agent did for us. Which one did it pick? It picked up GPT 5.3 codecs. Now, because I marked it as auto. But if I had fixed it to Sonnet, then probably it would have always used Sonnet. Right? So it says, okay, I loaded the instructions. It didn't have any instructions. I loaded the hooks. No hooks present. I loaded the agents. Also, no agents present. I loaded the skills. We didn't provide any skills. And then it loaded the user message. So what I'm trying to tell you is as soon as you add a prompt here, The LLM just doesn't go mindlessly looking at the prompt. It first loads the instructions, hooks, agents, skills exactly in that order, and then works on your user message. Then it has all the context it needs to do the job properly. Right now, we gave it nothing, nada, except for the user prompt. Now, if I click here, you see the summary table. And this summary tells us 473,153. So 473,000 tokens were consumed. That's a lot. Yeah. You know, you can also look at or visualize the agent workflow like this. Click on this agent flow chart, and then you can, because it is zoomed in a bit, you can then visualize the entire thing as a workflow. Anyone familiar with this screen? No? Okay. Have a look at the first one, load instructions plus 3 more. So if I click on this, it says load instructions, load hooks, load agents, load skills. If I click on load skills, it says, okay, by default, GitHub Copilot is given 2 skills, troubleshooting and agent customization. But we have not given it any skill yet. So keep this thing in mind, because we're going to come back to the same workflow at a later point in time where we have added a skill. Yeah. Any questions on this? Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do the navigation again, yeah? So the 3 ellipses, click on the ellipses, I go to show agent debug logs. Yeah, I click on this. And then it shows me the debug logs for my current running sessions. Yeah, so if you go to agent debug logs, you will see this is the session that is currently running. And then you can go inside. This is the summary. And then the agent flow. You can go even further to view logs, and then you see the entire log, what happened. This is also a very nice place where you can see where did your agent go wrong, how many tokens it consumed per step. You know, so just to execute a certain step, how many tokens? 19,000 tokens to do exactly this, and we can go deeper and deeper and deeper with this. Okay, but 473 or 475 it was, 475K. That's quite a lot. So what we need to do is we need to make it a bit more efficient for a simple flow like this, right? You said it's a simple flow. It relatively is a simple flow, because in real world, flows will be way more complex. That's where so let me go back to this one. That's where we come to the next step, which is we will generate the test steps with CLI. Okay, so Playwright CLI. Playwright CLI is claimed to be more token efficient than MCP. But first, I need to install this CLI. I'm going to close everything. Go to the terminal. And so the CLI is installed. That's it. How do we see? We go to package.json and we verify that the Playwright CLI is there. Just got added. Because we just installed it, it just got added. Okay? Okay. Now we are going to prompt again. Can we use the same prompt? If we change it a little bit. Exactly. So we're going to keep everything the same, except for using Playwright MCP becomes using Playwright CLI. Log into blah, blah, blah. And then the logical name would be CLI. Yeah, that's about it. We keep the prompt exactly the same. Before I run this, I want you to see something. What it did is it created a folder called .playwright MCP. Every time that it was interacting with the page and it was struggling or sometimes not struggling, it was creating a dump of that page and it was putting it on your disk, on your local machine. It has become more intelligent than it was about a year ago. About a year ago, it did not do this. About a year ago, it was trying to find everything in memory. Now it is putting everything on your disk so that when it comes back, it uses this ref E5, ref E9, and that makes it easier for it. So now it is 475K tokens. Previously, it used to be more than 1,000, like 100,000 more. So this has become more intelligent over a period of time. When I'm going to run this with CLI, you're going to see an exact same kind of folder. But by the way, shall we, before running this, very quickly run the test that the MCP created? Because we want to be sure, right, if it did a good job or not. Okay. So this is the purchase flow for MCP. Yeah. It works. Pretty fast, efficient, works. Good. Yeah, what it did, it took the reference from purchase _ code gen, and then it created purchase _ MCP. I have a very strong feeling it's going to create purchase and :CLI for the next one. Okay. Now let's see. But I will create a new session, a new chat. I don't want to do this in the same chat because then that would pollute the previous token usage. We want to compare the token usage, right? So this is a new chat. Before I hit enter, anyone wants to change anything? Yes. So, yeah, I mean, so which is what we just did, right? So why it did what it did is not known to us. Of course, we have some idea that because of the prompt, because of the context, it did this. But what its eventual output is on the screen. So you see, it generated this code. Okay, I get what you're saying, right? So I have a test, and I'm going to run it against a real-world application. It may pass, it may fail. That's what you're saying, right? Of course, it can fail. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Exactly. That's what I meant by... Yes, exactly. That's what I meant by the human in the loop. So you have an... Yeah. So if... No, absolutely. Spot on. Yes. So if we would have blindly trusted what MCP generated for us, and we would have said, hey, run it. And if it is a green, it could have been a test like opening the website and closing, and that's it, right? It could have still been green. But we would eventually need to test everything. We would eventually need to make sure that what it generated satisfies us, whether the assertions are good enough, whether the flow is good enough. Yeah. Okay. As I was saying before I hit enter, any comments from anybody? Or we just let it run? Oh, okay. No, yeah, I did. Uh, this is, yes. It added the backpack and it even validated whether this text, it did go to the checkout when it was struggling, right? But when it generated the code eventually, it did. Okay, let the CLI work. Let's see if this struggles more or less or equal. Oh, sorry. No, no, it's not. It's not working. Human in the lead, yeah. It's doing a better job at least than. No, CLI. Whoa. Without review. Hmm? Is it using MCP? You're right, because it did not create the dot uh, playwright CLI folder. Yeah. So no, not good, because it used MCP, and no wonder it was fast, because it had all the context stored in the dot playwright MCP folder, right? So okay, this is not good. So we need to tweak the prompt a little more, and it ran. It was like, okay, I did a good job. Let's see what this one had. Um, so what I had said is use playwright CLI. What did we use here? Use playwright CLI. Can we stop? Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good idea. We can stop the MCP server. So we come here. We go to yeah, again. No, here icon. Uninstall. Okay. Let me know if you want to take a break. I don't know how this session format works, but yeah, okay. When are we supposed to stop? Okay, good. So, yeah, but I have also uninstalled Playwright MCP altogether. So it cannot find Playwright MCP anymore. Not that I needed to do it, but still. For now, I'm going to use this prompt. I can still use the previous prompt, but let's go with this. I will create a new chat session. Okay, then let's do that. Let's use the same prompt. Okay. Playwright CLI. I just need to make sure that it really understands what we mean. Make it bold and capital. I don't know, for some reason, I'm really rooting for it to do it. I've never done this. Every time when I'm doing it all by myself, I'm like, I want it to fail. But now I want it to work. Has anyone written a skill file from the scratch, I mean? Which is bad, but okay. It is trying to inspect the existing CLI spec. Oh, please don't. I've deleted it, so get lost. What is really interesting is it hasn't able to detect. Okay. It just restored it. It just restored it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I can do that. So I'm going to skip this. I'm going to say, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to say, please, no, use. Yeah, but I want to understand, why is it not using Playwright CLI? Use Playwright CLI to create a new test. Use Playwright CLI. Use the installed Playwright CLI to create a new test. I haven't given it a lot of context, to be honest. Now it's doing stuff. Now it knows, okay, npx playwright CLI help. That means it kind of understood that Playwright CLI is a brand new tool. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And then it says, okay, now I'm starting the Playwright CLI. Fill, haha. Good. This is a good exercise, actually. True, true. Yes, but it doesn't know what it's going to find on the website. So every time, if you follow the sequence, it's actually going to the website. It's doing the entire dump, taking the entire dump, and so it's still consuming a lot of tokens. Next time, when it tries to interact with another, you see what it's doing? It is probably going to push the whole stuff again, the whole thing into the context, which is more tokens. So it knows what it needs to do, but it doesn't really is token efficient enough. Exactly, because my explicit comment was, yeah, but that it can, 100% it can, but that is not the objective of what I'm trying to do. It can. You will see what happens because you said, right, it generated a very nice name, purchase colon MCP. It is because it saw the name purchase colon code gen. So it is reading it, it has to read it, but I have explicitly asked it to use Playwright CLI. So build everything from the scratch. Is it something that you're going to do in real world? No. You're either going to use CLI or MCP. You don't need both, right? So now it works because if you see on the top left, it creates a Playwright CLI folder. So now it has explicitly used the CLI. And then it runs these tests, which is great. I love this fact that it creates these to-dos. By the way, to-do is also a tool. If you want, you can disable to-do as a tool so that you don't see them. But it's good to see them because you know how sequentially it works. Okay. I have confirmed the CLI-driven flow and the saved path all work. Great. So this is what it created, purchase underscore CLI. It is exactly the same, but we can confirm that it has been generated from scratch using CLI. Yeah. It has stopped. Now what we will do is we will see the token consumption. The chat header or the session header has Playwright CLI testing. So let's see what it has. We show agent debug logs. We need to select the right session. This one is the active session. Yeah. This one we kind of killed it, right, in the middle. So this is the active session. 247. Yeah. So we are going from 475, 473 to 247, which is more efficient. And I did not kill the execution at all. I just let it run. If you remember for MCP, I killed the execution. I said, you don't have to do it. We are going to do it separately. But I let it run. So with all of that, it is still 247. Which is pretty nice. Yes. Exactly. Okay, now comes the most. Yeah, I will show the flow. Yeah. However, the flow will not change a lot, purely because we haven't done anything differently. If I go to agent flow chart, it is the same. Load instructions, load hooks. It hasn't changed. Yeah. Load skills, load agents, load skills. Again, no skills that we have added. But what we are going to do now is going to be interesting because we are going to add skills. I want to take a pause and I'm going to talk about skills a little bit because what we are going to do now is, in my opinion, fundamentally the most important thing in the agentic world today. Skills are agnostic of any LLM. So today I create the skill, I give it to you, you take it and run it on Cloud Code, still the same. It is not tied to any particular agent, not tied to any particular LLM. It is agnostic. It is the single most efficient way of making sure that you have given enough context to your LLM to run in a verifiable way. Okay? Can anyone tell me what is the basic anatomy of a skill? How does it look like? What should it contain? Okay, so that is inside a file, right? A name and a short description. But even before going inside the file, how can what makes us composes a skill? So a purpose. Yes, so a purpose, yeah, in the form of a markdown file, right? Skill.md. Yeah, and inside that markdown file is what you say, a name and a description. Yes, but is it only that? Is it only a markdown file? Yes, exactly. So there is a brilliant website. Well, I honestly, I have it here, but I don't want you to look at what I have. Agent Skills. This is brilliant website. I would highly recommend you to, to go through this. Let me quickly find this for you. What are skills? Is it visible? Should I zoom it a bit more? So this is what comprises of a skill. So the skill.md file, definitely. But it can also have scripts. You can basically ask, hey, there's a bash script, there's a PowerShell script. Whatever you do, run that script as well, right? A post operation, pre-operation, whatever. Then you have references. In the references, you can have as many markdown files. Okay, this is the documentation of my product, because you're giving information about your product to the LLM. So give references. Or this is an example of a work that I have done. Whenever you're going to create something new, use this as an example. So references and some assets. So templates, resources. If you are creating some pipelines, for example, and you say, hey, this is a template, whatever you do, always use this template to create it. So all these are extremely powerful. And the combination of all of this makes a skill, not just one single MD file. Of course, you can create a single MD file that can still work, but if you make it like this, it is more robust. I saw a raise of hands. Did anyone raise your hand? Yeah, of course. So, as I said, at the end, we are going to generate a skill. We're going to create a skill together. So, we're going to use exactly that prompt that you are talking about. If I come here to VS Code, all you need to do is just this and say create. And you see the third option is called create skill. So we're going to use this create skill capability to create a skill which we can run. Yeah. So yeah, sure. Not just skill, right? You can create an agent, hook, instruction, prompt, whatever. All right. So then we are basically at the final segment of this deep dive, where we are going to install the skills. And with the skills, we are going to give the same command that we gave last time, and then we're going to let it run. Okay? So, clear? You see what happened? Right at the top it created a folder called .cloud. Yeah, of course, I could have asked it to create a folder called .github, or there is already one, and I could have asked it to go inside. But inside this .cloud folder, it detected, okay, this is my workspace, so it initialized it. Skills are installed into .cloud, skills Playwright CLI. So there's a reference folder, exactly following the same pattern that I showed on the other website. And then there is a skill.md. And because the skill had something nice, it said, okay, I found Chrome, and we will use it as the default browser. I don't want to use Firefox or Edge. What does this skill look like? I'm going to open this up. The skill has a name, Playwright CLI. Okay. Let's look at what the name of the folder is. So under .cloud skills, the folder name is Playwright CLI as well. So the name of the skill inside the markdown should be exactly equal to the name of the folder. That's the skill, right? And then it describes, okay, you are to automate browser interactions, test web pages, and work with Playwright tests. Your allowed tools are Playwright CLI. That's it. So here's where, through this skill, we are asking, or we are enforcing the LLM to not hallucinate. Because the LLM, what it did was, we asked it to use Playwright CLI, it was CLI, but it was still using MCP, isn't it? So now we are saying, no, you cannot use anything else. You have to use Playwright CLI. And then it goes on to describe what are the different actions and commands and blah, blah, blah. But it also says for all kinds of references. Let me quickly take you to, yeah. For all kinds of specific tasks, it is pointing to the references folder. So you see the references folder also has some interesting things, video recording, tracing. If we ask it to do something like that, go to the reference, find all the instructions there. So we are not bloating up that single MD file with lots of information. We are saying these are the other references, use it as and when needed. Yeah. Okay. A nice skill has been added. We all get it. Now what we will do is we will create a new session. Sorry, new session. And we will no. Because now you will see how the agent workflow or the agentic flow will look like. It knows if I have a skill, I'm going to use that skill first. It will not look at the user prompt. It will go to that skill first. The only thing that I will add here is with CLI skill, right? So when it saves the file, it saves it in with this name. Yeah, that's all that I will add. And any comments before I hit enter? I'm not sure whether I would want to do that. I'll give you an example. If you look at CLI here, see the name that it created, purchase flow CLI, it gets reference from that. I know that the thinking is because there are files which are similar, it might as well, it is using it. So in order to satisfy all of us, what I will do is I'm going to keep the name of the test. I'm going to remove the content of the test. Is that okay? Yeah. We just don't trust it, do we? Just don't trust it. Is this okay? This is what I'm going to do for all. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, yeah. You don't trust me either. Oh, sorry. I've created a brand new chat session. Come on. Okay. 2 down, 1 to go. The code gen gone, CLI gone, MCP. This is what I will delete. Yeah? Is this okay? Yes. So I'm going to delete this line, this little thing, right? As an expert quality engineer, log into blah, blah, blah. Because the skill is already asking it to use Playwright CLI, correct? Let's get rid of this. Good point, thank you. Yes. General fundamental question? Okay, then let me hit enter and then we can. Go, go, go. Yes, fundamental question. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have Selenium MCP. We have Playwright MCP. We have Selenium MCP. We have Playwright CLI. We do not have Selenium CLI. Why did we choose Playwright over Selenium is a debate in the testing world, in the quality engineering world, that will have people split into two. There are these Selenium lovers, there are these Playwright lovers. Every engineer must have started their browser testing journey with Selenium. Selenium is great, but Playwright abso-freaking-lutely rocks. That is the answer. It just rocks. What did it do? Did it generate the test as well? Yeah, if I click on keep, it will. Oh, what the hell? How fast did it do it, man? Okay. So there's a failure, which is fine. There's a failure in the execution. Execution failure is not a problem, but the point is, it generated the test. Yeah. Let's see what it did. Let's see if it looks familiar to us. Yeah, yeah. So far, all good. All good, all good. Check out QA engineer. Okay, good, good, good. Yeah. But we will see what went wrong in the execution. That is something that we're going to, that is the least of my worry. But it generated the test. I'm curious to see the token consumption and also the workflow. Yeah. Should I stop the execution or should I just let it figure out why it failed? Leave it? Okay, if I leave it, absolutely okay. But maybe we can see the workflow, what happened. If I go to the agent debug logs, and if I come here, this is the active session. So if I click here, 85,000, it's much lesser, by the way, much, much lesser. Okay, okay. Still it's not going to, still running, okay, good. speaking too fast, too soon. Yeah. But look at the agentic workflow. Load skills. Aha. It has a new skill and it loads it. So I do not explicitly, I think there was a question from somebody that yeah. So it automatically detects that, okay, there's a .cloud file folder and the skill is loaded. Okay. Sorry? It doesn't need to, because the rule is, if you have a .cloud, .github, .goose, .whatever folder, it will automatically look for the skills there. So it doesn't really mean a .cloud is equal to a Claude model that it's going to choose. It has got no connection whatsoever. Okay. Let's. Yes, I'm going to change the file. So I'm going to keep, but I'm going to allow it. And token consumption is going to let it go on. Not a problem. So what does it say? It says passed, right? Final token count 145. We have 15 minutes more? Okay. But this is the final token count, 145. The least amongst all. Yeah? Now, as far as the validity of this test, does this test even runs or not? It says that it has fixed it has implemented all of it, it's good, but we are non-believers. We all are. So we are going to run it ourselves. Humans, yeah. You see the name that it chose, CLI skill, which is why I kept those files just with the name and not the content. Okay, good. And now I'm going to run this. Let's see if it works. Whew, works. Right? Do we believe it? Please believe it. It's working. Yeah. Expect to contain text. So Sauce Labs backpack. So there is an expect that is there. Expect to be visible. Okay, this is fine. But what it also did, and this is what I'm seeing now, is it added some expectations by itself. So to have URL, and of course to have text, which is the assertion that we started with, but it also added some expectations on its own. It all depends on how well your skill is. Not your skill in the sense, the skill that you have written. And then the output is really amazing. So prompt is good, but if we kind of gather all our thoughts into a proper skill, it's the best. Yeah. All right. Final thing left to do. By the way, what I'm thinking is I'm going to put everything on GitHub and probably share the link so that you can just use it. Yeah. What we will do is we are going to the final act of the day is we will create a skill ourselves as what you suggested. So we're going to hard prompt it and it's going to create a skill for us. Let's see. Yes. Yes, I can do that. And that is what makes Playwright more, this is one point for you who asked about Selenium and Playwright. That is what makes Playwright absolutely beautiful. It is so fast. For me to put a delay, I would have to add it in the configuration, delay of this much, or slow down. It's called slow-mo. And then it slows down the entire test. You know, what you just said, I know we're running short of time, but I will tell you one brilliant thing that happened yesterday. Playwright released version 1.59, in which they have added a capability called screencast. I'll show you. Uh, DevOps days. Yeah. So last night, it was pretty late. I finished my talk. My previous talk, I went back home, had dinner, and I was practicing. And I just needed to practice the purchase.spec, the MCP, the CLI skills. Somehow I got deviated into the Playwright release notes, and I spent a lot of time on that. And I ended up creating the screencast.spec.ts file, yeah, where it is the same flow, exactly the same flow, except at the top, I have added screencast start and show actions on the top right-hand side. And then I have added screencast stop. So start, stop, everything is in the middle. And then it generated this video.webm folder. And I'm going to reveal it in Finder. Let me play this for you. On the top right-hand side, it shows all the actions that it is doing, and it is relatively slow. You can even slow it down. And it even has chapters. So from time to time, you will see that overlay. Those were chapter names. So if you have to create a working instruction, this is exactly meant for that. What I did is just an experiment, but you can slow it down and make it even more. Yes, yes, by default, part of Playwright. Yes. It wasn't till yesterday. Was released last evening. Yes. No specific extension, no specific reason. Yes, yes, but that is what every time I use -UI, that is exactly what the extension does. It is also really amazing. You can also debug with this. We have a lot of non-believers telling you. Okay. Jesus Christ. What am I looking at? Oh, yeah. Recent. We're going to create a scale, yeah? New chat. Create skill. Okay. Any volunteers who wants to come up, type? Because I have been doing this for the whole session, right? Somebody, what should this skill produce? What should it produce? It doesn't have to be a Playwright quality engineering thing, just any skill of your choice. What do you want to create a skill about? Playwright, exactly. Absolutely. It comes right from the people who build the tool. No, but not just for Playwright, but yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's what we are doing. Yes. The discussion we had yesterday. We are, as an organization, I'm from ING Bank, and we are maintaining a set of, we are about to maintain a set of global skills, which will be released as little robots. Yeah, these are robots for everyone. Teams can still continue to have their skills based on certain purposes that it's very intrinsic to their application, but global skills like coding, building a microservice or whatever uh, should be central. I have to first you, then I'll come to you. Yeah. Yes. Can change. Yes. Yes. Y- If you think for your application's context, that kind of an assertion should be eliminated and you should have more robust validations. Absolutely. No, that's, yeah. Yeah, no. Put it in the skill. Yeah, totally agree. What he just mentioned is a kind of, yeah, it's in the borderlines of best practice and a skill, right? So if you're telling a tool, do not believe on flaky locators and only work on robust locators, that is a skill. Otherwise, Playwright as a tool can even pick up a flaky locator. Something do we want? No. Can be part of instructions, can also be part of custom agents, but can be part of skills also. I think I would put it as a skill, but we can debate later. You had a question, yes. How do you version skills? So this entire workspace is version controlled, right? Oh, you mean or across the organization? How do we version it, right? It largely depends on the way in which you want to distribute the skills. If you are going to make the skills available from, say, if you look at the top Playwright evolution, that's a search bar. So there, if you are saying, I am going to, as an organization, distribute my skills via the marketplace, then you can always make sure that all your skills are part of a repository, GitHub repository or whatever. And then there's a pipeline which pushes every version towards marketplace. Or you want to say agent package manager, APM, right? That's also possible. In all of these, agent package manager or marketplace, you can choose a specific version of the skill that you would want to download. So it's a very standard process, like a Node package or a Java Maven package. It's exactly like that. It very much depends on how your organization wants to distribute the skills. Okay, final question. Yes, you saw, right? This one took 145K tokens, which is the least among everything else, all the user prompts and everything else. Read a PDF. I just had this random thought in my mind. What should this? Yeah, also, yes. Selenium. Yeah. Screen. And now I have made it busy to create a skill, but please go home, try out creating a. No, 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 no. Don't just go home. Go home and try out creating a skill and have fun with it. Oh, yes. Yes. I'll take a question and then I'll answer this question. Yes. Bank. This kind of tool, you mean the LLM AI in general, right? Ah, okay, okay. I will answer that. Okay, let me first answer this playwright adoption question that you had asked. Now he's busy on his phone, but he's still busy on his phone. Then let me answer your question then. Um, um, sometimes it is important to use playwright authenticated context. What do I mean by that? Is you are running a browser on your local machine and you have already authenticated to it, and you can simply ask Playwright CLI that bind, that's a capability of Playwright, Selenium doesn't have, bind to this bind to this website with this authenticated context and do whatever you have to do. So you're not providing any additional authentication tokens or whatever. It just binds to this browser instance, does the automation for you, instead of spinning up something completely on its own. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Very similar to that, yeah. Except that authentication context uses an already authenticated JSON file. It has all the cookies and everything, all the cache is stored, so it's way safer and secure. Can I?
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you. Playwright adoption in our organization. We had a huge debate, discussion about this. We are a complete Playwright shop now. Complete Playwright shop. From ING Australia to ING US and everything in between, all European countries, we are a complete Playwright shop. But we are not just Playwright. We have a wrapper around the Playwright solution so that we cater to not just technical folks, but also business users who can also benefit from the power of Playwright. So we have built a wrapper around it, but overall, the underlying layer is all Playwright. So, yeah.
Like Playwright, it's a little above on the testing. I'm sorry about the timing.
Yeah, no problem.
Like, you still do all the other testings and let Playwright on top of it, or you just...
Oh, yeah. So we have unit tests, then we have component tests. Yesterday, I talked about contract tests, which is part of component tests. Then the deployment happens. Then we do system tests. Now, system can be tested via the browser, so Playwright comes into picture. Could also be tested via API, JMS, all the backend stuff. And then we finally have system integration. So one system connecting to its neighbors, so business service tests. So we have an entire hierarchy of testing, and Playwright fits into one of the category, one or two, but not all. Yeah. That's about it. A file has been created, and I don't know where it created it. In Claude. Claude, read PDF, skill.md, and here you go. Clap for yourself, because this has been a very interactive session. Thank you.